Well, you were watching the hockey games, and boy, oh boy, you would be happy to know that both the men and women's hockey teams qualified for the Hockey World Cup next year. But anyway, we will get into that a little later on in the show. Right now, we're taking it back. We're going to be bringing you international news. We're going to be bringing you local sports. I am Diana Master, and I am joined by Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. How are you doing?
I'm quite well and pleased to be here on this lovely Saturday. We know that the good news is that the hockey teams have qualified once again to the World Cup, which is something very important, and I hope the viewers out there have enjoyed this one.
I definitely hope so too. So Jesse, how are you feeling? First Saturday Sportwrap.
Well, I'm used to this chair, although it's in the middle of the week, and you know, I'm sure that it's quite more exciting during the weekend where everything is coming through. So yes. I'm looking forward to being here for the next 2 hours.
Well, we are happy to have you here. Now we will get into a lot more right after this short ad break.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Now, of course, with Saturday Sportwrap Studio, we bring you everything, and I'm talking everything. We cover, think anything, we got you covered, anything sport, that is. Now, today in Athlete's World, we are taking a look as Brian Munango actually had a talk with Axel Tyson about his journey and how far he has come. Let's have a look.
Okay, well, for this episode, we are joined by none other than Axel Tyson, the president of the Namibian Cycling Federation. Well, before we do, I do get to introduce him. Last year, we were supposed to have him on season 1, and I was 15 minutes late to the interview. And Axel just picked up the phone, and Axel said, I remember your words were, you know what, it's fine, just turn around. I'm not angry. I just work with time, and we'll do this some other time, maybe in September. Mind you, this was in June, and he said maybe in September. But I'm so glad we get to have him on this season 2, on our 3rd episode for this show. So Axel Tyson, how are you doing today?
Brian, welcome. Nice that we've a few months later finally connected, and welcome to this session with the beautiful. We've had the first rains in Namibia by now, so it's a special episode, hopefully, which you'll broadcast very soon.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm loving it here. The view is amazing. I'm sure you don't get tired of this view, but Axel Tyson, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. As we all know, you are the president of the Namibian Cycling Federation. Yeah, just let us know, when did you get into cycling? And yeah, apart from you being the president, how did cycling become a thing for you?
It actually goes back many, many years. As you would possibly know, cycling is about, or Windhoek Paddle Power as the first club is about 38, 39 years old this year. And my dad, Klaus Tyson, actually is the father of cycling in Namibia. He started Windhoek Paddle Power, he together with Arto Kuppe at that time. Arto Kuppe is no more, he passed away a few years ago. But the two of them started Windhoek Paddle Power, and then my dad also started the federation. So for me, when I was asked whether I would join the federation, and together with my career in Samod, and I was knowing that I would be stepping back and taking it a bit easier, I thought, why not dedicate the time, giving a financial contribution is easy, but giving a time contribution as an executive is a lot more difficult. So to answer your question, I've been involved with cycling since a very early age, like 14 years of age.
Sure.
And with the Nedbank Cycle Challenge, the biggest ride under the sun, emanating next or this coming weekend I've got my certificate here of many years ago, exactly 35 years ago, where I finished 8th in what is now the Nedbank Cycle Challenge overall, 4th in my age cat and 8th overall. So I've been cycling for many years.
Okay. Can we speak about your biggest achievement in cycling? I want to get straight to the point, because we're speaking behind the camera and you were talking about how you got into cycling at a young age, like you just said. And just speaking of your biggest achievements in cycling, can you mention a few off the top of your head?
One of the most favorites events is definitely the Cape Town Cycle Tour. I studied in Cape Town. I've been living in Cape Town for 5 years. I've done 27 Cape Town cycle tours, more than half of my age. And not many people can do so. And I think together with George Thiele, George and myself are leading the ranking in terms of the Namibians that have competed in the most Cape Town cycle tours.
Yeah.
But the biggest advantage goes back again also 35 years ago. This is the medal with the Namibian Cycling Federation when I was 18 and I won the junior national title, road title, exactly almost to the month 35 years ago.
That's in
so have
1989.
This wonderful relic. And this, I've obviously kept it. It means a lot to me. I was a national champion when I was under 18.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to give back in time to the future, to the kids of Namibia that see this medal as well and say, I want to be the national champ as well in my age group.
Yeah.
And represent Namibia ultimately, which is the biggest accolade for any athletes to be able to represent Namibia internationally.
Okay, this carries so much value, because I mean you've kept this since 1989. How old was I then? I think maybe.
Oops.
Yeah, no. Let's not talk about that. But I will be taking part in the Nedbank Cycle Challenge actually.
That's great
I'm
to
doing
hear.
the 30 kilometers. Michelle somehow forced me into doing it, and but I'm not complaining.
You will not regret it.
So I'll just be doing 30Ks. So for me, that's taking part in it on Sunday. Word of advice from a great. How should I go about it? I haven't cycled probably like in the last 10 years maybe. Last time I got on a bike I was maybe 14.
Get your bike ready. That's first and foremost. Without the proper bike, you will not finish the 30 kilometers. And otherwise, the biggest advice is just enjoy it.
Okay.
Go out there. It's the biggest ride. And especially the 20 and the 30 kilometer routes are basically a fun ride category.
Okay.
There's race categorization, but it's for the greater masses. So it's great that you're joining us on Sunday.
I will be there on Sunday.
I'll most probably be doing the
Sunday.
100 kilometers.
Okay, no, that's
either the 60 or the 100, but we'll see en route.
That's a bit much for me. I'll start with the 30, and then we can gradually talk about 50 and 100 and stuff.
But start off slowly and just don't reach for the stars immediately.
Okay,
the 30 kilometers is perfect.
It's perfect. Okay, then I'll start off with the 30. Okay, Axel, one thing I wanted to talk to you about was cycling in Namibia. As in a whole, based off where you started and where it is now, how do you think cycling has grown? How do you take on the growth of cycling in Namibia?
I must give accolades to the committees that were there before, and I know them most by name. But the previous president that served for many years is Rolf Adrian, Vera Loser's dad. And they put a lot of passion and energy into the federation. Nick Du Plessis is currently the person heading up the race portfolio, and he's been with the federation for 8 years. I've now led the federation for close to 4 years. And I think my biggest aim has always been to put structure into an organization where a group of volunteers are sitting together all at their own free time and defining a collective picture. And you can actually run it like a company. A federation also has to have a vision statement, a mission statement, know what you're doing, know exactly who your stakeholders are. And with that structure, we can build up, and cycling has grown. Most probably we are one of the best run sports codes in Namibia. And any sport without sponsors is not getting anywhere. So we need to attract the big corporates to continue sponsoring cycling. And cycling is also one of the very few sport codes that has participated in each and every Olympic Games for the last 30 years and representing Namibia proudly. So these are our big targets which we want to achieve. And then the other big personal target for me is to lay the foundation for our junior riders to see that they can perform and give them a career path in cycling where, together with our national coach, Hans Sutoy, who's doing brilliant work, and everybody else, there's so many people involved in coaching in Namibia, it's unbelievable, and all of them do it basically on their own free will and for the love of the sport. But Namibia has for the first time now qualified for the Youth Olympic Games. That's the Olympic Games for the under 18s, under 16 and under 18s, and that's something which we've never had. So for the first time in 2 years' time, we'll be sending under 18 athletes to an Olympic Games so that they get accustomed to what that huge international exposure is. Because racing overseas and racing at a World Cup is just a different kettle of fish. There's so much noise, so much planning, so much happening that you need to witness it to understand it.
Yeah. Okay, well, apart from, we spoke to Alex Miller. He was the first guest on the episode, a wonderful cyclist / mountain biker, fair loser, same caliber, really, really good cyclist. But my question is, for you to maintain such effectiveness, for you to be effective in the cycling industry for so long, what does it take for, let's say, a normal cyclist? What do you have to do on a daily to make sure that you stay at the highest level as soon as possible?
Vera and Alex are obviously our sports stars. Vera, that won the Sports Star of the Year award for NASA, for the Namibia Sports, or from the Sports Federation, Sports Commission, correction. They are semi-professionals or professional athletes. So to compete at that level, you basically almost have to be a professional cyclist, which nobody of us resident in Namibia can really do. Alex is really a star at his young age. He's really performed exceptionally well, represented us at the Olympic Games, finished the mountain bike track in the Olympics, which on that statue as alone is magnificent. But we've had the Mark Bessingswade as well, Tristan De Lange, that represented Namibia internationally. Yeah. So no, it comes with a lot of training. The mental training is equally important in cycling, not just the physical training, because they race it all out on the international circuit, and something like the Absa Cape Epic that's taking place very soon in South Africa. That's one. It's the Tour de France in mountain biking. It's most probably one of the most grueling sporting events, especially on the cycling front, on the planet.
Wow.
And to have our athletes, and there's, apart from Vera and Alex, there's other more novice Namibian riders taking place at the Cape Epic. It's something which I've never done, but it's a bit too long for me. But I've done other epics, the Swiss Epic twice, Croatia Epic this year. So I do want to participate internationally as well, but more in the hobby, more in my age group.
Okay.
Not weight group, age group.
Okay, we will definitely be continuing this conversation and talk more about how Axel Tyson lives his daily life, and then we just find out more about his side of Simon. But with that being said, do definitely stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your life could change at any second, but you'll never know until you take the chance. With sports betting, number games, and online casino gambling, JSB is your best bet. Will you be Namibia's next instant millionaire? Place your bets easily online at jsbsports.bet or at any JSB location nationwide. We'll take you to the action anywhere, anytime. JSB, where the next instant millionaires come to play. Strictly no under 18s. JSB supports responsible gambling. Winners know when to stop.
Well, and just like that, we are back for the last part of this interview. Axel Tyson having a great time here at your place. Let's get right into it. You know, when first time I met you as the Namibian Cycling Federation president, without knowing that Axel Tyson is more than involved in Simon. Can you tell us more about your career and your path with Simon as well?
Having returned back from Europe many years ago, and after my studies in Cape Town, I started in January 97.
1997.
So
that is.
exactly 27 years ago on the 27th of January, so I can easily remember that.
Wow, okay.
And worked my way up through the organization. For the last 20 years, I've been first managing director, then chief executive officer, CEO. And then for strategic reasons and other personal reasons, I decided to hand over the CEO responsibility to my successor. And currently I'm serving as the executive chairperson of the Samot Group. There are more companies under Samot now, but Samot is the most well known.
Yeah. Okay, well, I know you as a person who is very organized. You work by the number, to the T, this time, that time, this goes in this time. How do you manage all of it? How do you manage Samot work? How do you manage Cycling Federation? How do you squeeze in time to get on the bike and all of that?
It's a good question. At times it gets very, very tricky. And especially with WhatsApp nowadays, people expect an answer immediately. And there are certain times of the day where you just don't get to it. It's physically impossible. And I'm an early riser. I swim a lot apart from cycling. I do swim a lot to keep fit.
Okay.
So you will see me at 5:15 in the swimming pool if you know where I'm training. And then in the evenings, there's quite a few Friday evenings where the battery is pretty empty. And then you're looking forward to a relaxing weekend to recharge the energies for the next week.
Yeah. So 5 o'clock for you, you're already in the water. 5 in the morning.
Yeah, 5:10.
Aye.
When other people snooze and they then complain that the day is too short. No, I'm an early riser, and if I'm not early in the pool, I'm early at work. I love the morning hours. I'm a morning person. I love the mornings.
Okay,
And
so
that's where I get most of the productivity done. And the modern game, the other thing why I think I can manage is because I'm a firm believer that the power of the team is significantly more important than an individual. So both in the federation as well as in the Samot organization, I believe extremely in the team spirit. So I foster on team culture and making sure that you as a collective reach that common goal. And it's not only one individual, because then otherwise it's not sustainable.
Okay, so yeah, Axel, as I was saying, if we have to talk about, you said you get busy, wake up early in the morning, 5:10, you're already in the swimming pool. How does a regular Saturday look for you?
A classical Saturday, if it's not work related or otherwise travel, you will find me on my bicycle 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. In a time now when you do need to train 2 through 3 hours, I do put in the cycle before my children wake up.
Yeah.
And then breakfast at about 11 o'clock is for me sacred. Relaxing breakfast, cell phones off, spend time with the family, relax. And then afterwards the normal activities have to happen, either shopping or the routine activities, or in the worst case working, which also happens over the weekends quite frequently.
I like the part where phones are switched off and it's just family time for that moment. I mean, it's through this busy days that you do have, it's very important for you to just make sure that you have that hour, 2 hours to just reset and get back to normal. But yeah, another question, this is probably one of the last questions that we'll be asking Axel, is for the year, what can we expect from Axel Tyson? Like, where can we be seeing you taking part in competitions? Like you said, you see yourself taking part in competitions internationally, just as a hobby, in your own age category. So yeah, what can we expect from you this year?
So the first one is now Nedbank Cycle Challenge. This coming weekend. Then first weekend in March is the Oornop swim, Point Break Oornop swim. We'll in all likelihood be doing the 5 kilometer on a Saturday and then the 2 kilometer on a Sunday, where other people will say you're crazy, and they're not too wrong. And then
I'm one of them.
a weekend later, the Cape Town cycle to 110 kilometers in Cape Town, and then end of April, Croatia Epic. It's called Four Islands Epic. It starts. We will fly to Zagreb. And then from there on, take the mountain bikes along, and it's a 4-day mountain bike race, also organized by the Epic organizers. And I've done the Swiss Epic last year, 2023 and 2022. So now this year, the Croatia Epic is most probably the iconic event. And then later on in the year, that's basically my sporting achievements. There's Ride for Rhinos, RMB Ride for Rhinos happening in June. Most probably be participating there. And then towards the second half of the year, the biggest challenge or biggest task in my personal life is the Samot Hilltop venture. Samot as an organization or as a group is reinvesting its profits in Namibia, have appointed Namibian contractors as well to build that new iconic store. And I can already tell you that it'll be one of the nicest shopping experiences Windhoek has seen and Namibia has seen. We really want to raise the bar and and give something back. So it'll be an exciting, and with the premises directly next to Grove Mall, making use of the same parking area, plus having our own parking area and fully secure and with access roads. So our cycle workshop will also move there from the Windhoek CBD into Grove Mall precinct. So I'm hugely excited because then on the 17th of October, as you said, Axel organizes everything to perfection. On the 17th of October, we want to have the official opening and then be ready for Christmas 2024. And that's the year ahead for me.
Sure. Like I told you, I said it. I mean, I couldn't be more right than I was. This man, I really never, to be honest, I take so much motivation from you because since our last incident, and every other time that I've encountered you, you were just so to the date. June, July, we're doing this. August. Are you taking part in the Nedbank Desert Dash?
I will be doing it. Yes, because it is the 20th anniversary of the Nedbank Desert Dash this year.
Yeah.
And they last year introduced the over 50 category, which is a half dash.
Okay.
Which is the only medal which I don't have in my collection so far, because the organizers are actually cutting the medal up in half. If you do half the distance, you get half the medal. And I find this is a super idea. It gives a new dynamic to that wonderful race.
That's a wonderful idea, actually.
I'll be doing it this year. I will not be there supporting our teams because in the past few years I've been doing the team support. This year you will see me in the saddle.
Okay, so you'll be doing the half dash for the half medal.
Half medal, yeah.
Okay, I think I don't want to talk too soon about Nedbank Desert Dash. I think the Desert Dash is a bit much for me. But yeah, hearing about everything that Axel is doing is crazy. It gives me a headache just thinking of everything. It's not normal. It's not something a normal person would do.
You're starting this Sunday with 30 kilometers. So Desert Dash is only 390. So
390 only. Yeah. So yeah, but Axel Tyson. So a date for everyone to remember is the 17th of October, hopefully. Or we decided that's the date.
I sincerely hope. There's a lot of variables still to be attended to, but the 17th of October, the new Samot Hilltop branch will be opening, and it's a flagship store, beautiful finishes, new product ranges, and we are trying to give back to the Namibian customer and be a very proud Namibian-owned company.
Okay, so you guys are hearing from the man himself. It's not he said, she said. We heard it from Axel Tyson himself, so we can definitely be looking forward to that. Tyson, Axel, before we do let you leave on this one, we know we have this culture where we always ask our guest on the show to just give out a message to the youth. Sadly, we had our president passing just the other day. So speaking of a message that you would send out to the youth, people that are watching at home, young kids that are watching who inspire or who want to be cyclists in the future, what message do you have for them to keep pushing and to make sure they become the best of what they can be?
Yeah, condolences to Madam Gaingos, who I also know personally. It's a very sad news which shocked us all yesterday, and I think the entire nation is in mourning. We see that there as well, and within reason, because we've really lost a true political hero. But to answer your question in terms of what can I say to the youngsters, nowadays with WhatsApp and Instagram and all the other noise which is out there, it's nice to see that there's a group of cyclists who dedicate their life to the sport, and they must never ever give up. There's a lot of challenges, and even when you fall, I always say fall forward, at least you keep the momentum going forward. Stand up, and cycling is a sport which is dangerous. People do fall. But at the end of the day, if they keep on pushing, take Vera Rosa as a prime example. She was under 18 athlete champion in Namibia. Then there was a time where she got second and third repetitively, and she never gave up, continued to train. So at the age of 30, she's at the prime of her life. So in cycling, you can reach to the stars, but believe in yourself and don't let these small obstacles or detractions that do happen either in sport or in real life let you deviate from your real target. Focus on what you achieve, and if you believe in it, you can do it.
I don't think I would ask for anything better. I think it's probably the best message you guys could have gotten from the most organized person in the world I know. But with that being said, Axel, thank you for your time. Thank you for having us here at your lovely residence. This was definitely an episode that we did need on the show. So I'm really happy that we did get to have you on the show. So, but from us, Athletes World, we'll be back with another banger episode. We just made sure to bring you Axel Tyson first before we do move on to the next. But from me, Brian Munango, and Axel Tyson, it is adios.
Adios.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Well, that was Brian and Axel that had a very inspiring, sit down and chat. And we actually got to find out a little more about Axel Tyson and his life and all of that. So, yeah, what a truly inspirational man.
Yeah, no, indeed he is.
All right, so now we have to talk something very, very big, something that is inevitable. We are talking the FA Cup final. It's Manchester United taking on Manchester City. It's a big game.
A very big game. It's one that, for the books, the city of Manchester won't sleep today. It's either blue or red. One has to win this one. It is a final, a cup tie. A draw is not enough for either both of them. And speaking of that, I'm sure you have an update in terms of what's happening.
Yes, so currently the game is actually at halftime and you would not believe it. Or I guess you would. I don't know, Manchester United fans now have this saying that we win when we want. So currently Manchester United is leading 2-0. It's still too early to celebrate, Jesse. Do you agree?
It's still too early to celebrate. We know that City are capable of coming back. They do have the firepower and the depth and quality. Of course, the 2-0 goal scored by, that is, Kobe Mainu and Alejandro Garnacho. Two young strikers, two young footballers that are coming of age in this Manchester United squad. And for them leading 2-0 at this time is quite very important, because you never want to go behind with City. So it's always important to score first and maybe try and hang on. But I don't think that they need to hang on. They need to push on the second half and make sure that they grab a third one, because we know that anything can happen and City can just score 3 goals like in 3 minutes.
Literally anything can happen. It is anybody's game. Now, in the course of the week, of course, before the finals and all of that, we always have, some words from the managers. Ten Hag, it's not looking too good for him right now. But if you missed it, let's take a look at what Pep Guardiola had to say ahead of this final today.
Well, at the end we play with the FA Cup, and the fact that we can do back-to-back doubles, of course, is important. But even we would not have this chance to do these kind of things. FA Cup for itself is FA Cup. So Wembley, all our fans going down to London, always is. Please, no, it's the last game of the season, the last effort. So we travel, everyone. I'm impressed how good we trained these 3 days after a few days off, and the people is, I think, so focused, and everybody won't be part of that, involved, and we will do our best. That's for sure. Let's try to decide a few things. I have doubts, and especially line up and go. You have to of course, respect them massively. What they feel, I don't know, because I'm not there. So our team is here, and maybe tomorrow will be different, next season will be different. If we are the same team, the same players, same manager, it can be differently. So nothing is eternal, you know, and there are periods in all history. When you make the long history, always there are periods. So always said, enjoy that moment, because this is going to happen for the next, I don't know how many years. So City will be here, and United will be up, and Liverpool, I don't know, and Arsenal at the end is there, it will be up. So that is normal. It's what our duty is, try to sustain it as longer as possible, as much as possible in this period. But so see, in the football players or basketball player, tennis player, who is the best? Who's the best? Every generation has his own period, has his own player. It's now enjoy the moment and sustain it as long as possible, and I'm pretty sure United will work to come up again.
Now, for one manager who's been having a fantastic run to one who's his streak has not been a good one, huh, Jesse? But we'll talk about that a little later on. We are talking Ten Hag. He could be sacked as Manchester United's boss. Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag is preparing for the FA Cup final amid uncertainty about reports that he will be sacked regardless of the result. Rumours about Ten Hag's future escalated on Friday morning before The Guardian reported that the Dutchman would lose his job after today's Wembley match against Manchester City, no matter the outcome. United still have not commented on the story. Club sources insist their focus is solely on the second consecutive cup final against Pep Guardiola's side, aiming to end a challenging season on a high note. Discussions with potential managerial candidates have taken place, but it is emphasized that the club remains committed to an end-of-season review, after which a decision on Ten Hag's future will be made. BBC Sport reported that there's been no contact with Ten Hag or his representatives by United since the Guardian report. Now, in an interview with Dutch football magazine Football International conducted earlier in the week and published on Saturday, Ten Hag said United's new co-owners, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos Group, had told him they would want to change everything and that they want to rebuild with him. Apparently, that's what they told him directly. In his pre-match news conference on Thursday, which was embargoed until Friday evening, Ten Hag was asked whether talks were planned with the club's new ownership group next week. Let's hear what the Dutchman had to say.
For people who might think tomorrow could be your last game in charge, what would you say about that?
I have nothing to say. I just focusing on the job I have to do, and that is first win the game on Saturday, and then we are in the project and keep going in the project. It's all about trophies, and we have a huge opportunity to win a trophy. And so last 10 years, not so many trophies in this club, but we have an opportunity to win 2 trophies in 2 years. I came here to win trophies. Saturday I have the next opportunity, and we achieved this. We earned this opportunity as a team, and now we have to go for it. And in the same time, in the last 2 years, of course, so after every season you will review it, and then we will see where we are in the project and things what we have to change. But we spoke lately about it. Underneath, there are very cool things, players coming up, players developing, values coming up, and in the same time we have on Saturday a big opportunity to win the next trophy. Yeah, of course, but my focus is not in this moment. Till Saturday, I only think about this game. It's FA Cup final is a big event, and we are there. And even in the season, what's not in our way, we are there, and we have an opportunity. And it's never be easy, but we have to go for it, and we will go for it, and we have to believe it, as we did last season, and as we know often against good opponents. We play our best football, and I expect to do this the same on Saturday.
For people who might think tomorrow could be your last game.
So Jesse, earlier on we were talking and you said you want Ten Hag to go no matter what. It seems like you're not the only Manchester United fan that has that mentality.
Most definitely. I mean, if you look at Ten Hag, he has been given enough time. He was given the money to sign the players, and his relationship with the players went sour somewhere there, where you could see that a few players left the club, a few big names, like name them Cristiano Ronaldo, the Jadon Sancho.
All right, sorry Jesse, sorry, I just have to briefly cut you off. We're experiencing some technical difficulties, but we'll take a quick ad break and talk more when we come back.
E-ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Attention kids, we have some exciting news for you. We are back and this year we are planning on going big. So listen up. If you are in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 or pre-primary, we are bringing your free school workbooks to you soon. This is all you need to know about where you can find your books. Books will be available for free in Republican Street Sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. And for all pre-primary kids out there, your books will be delivered to your school in all 14 regions of Namibia. And there's more. Pre-primary books will also be printed in 9 different languages. Check out when your book will be available from the schedule right here. That's not all. Our free online school is there to help you along the way with video lessons and more books to download. You can also follow along on NTV every Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 for your daily online school lesson. We thank all our sponsors who are helping to build a brighter future for Namibia. Contact us at info@acdtrust.com and follow us on Instagram.
Hallo Namibia, ons is by die kus en ons is lit.
Terwyl by die Easter shot.
Okay. Okay, so
Please, today you make sure that we are fed. Hoekom is jy nie hulle
sorry, ek is nie.
Jesse, I do apologize for rudely interrupting you there, but we were experiencing some technical difficulties. All right, now from a Manchester United fan's perspective, do you agree with the fact that Ten Hag has to go regardless?
Of course, Dana, I do have to agree there. One wouldn't like it. Is not a good image to have a manager sacked in that manner. But like I was alluding to earlier before we got the interruption, is that Ten Hag has been given enough time and the money to actually help Man United return to its glory days, but it seems like it has been quite difficult for him to do that. He has had fallouts with the players, you can name them, big money players that the club has spent on, like the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think also in terms of his signings, none of the signings that he has actually made have actually really brought something to the club in terms of silverware and all. Yes, we were in the lead with the FA Cup currently taking place, but With that said, Manchester United finishing 8th this season is just not good enough.
It's thoroughly disappointing.
Yes, and it has been happening for a while now with the number of managers that have come through. They have this thing of always salvaging a season, bringing belief in the club towards the end of the season, which could ensure that they are safe for the next season. But I think looking from a distance, we always knew that it's quite a big task for Ten Hag. He loves football, he loves the style of play, but I think with the English Premier League, it is quite different. And playing the kind of football that Ten Hag plays, it demands top quality players, it demands top quality signings. And as well, it demands support and backing from the leadership. I'm sure that it was also difficult for him in the beginning with the fact that the Glazers still own the club. And
yes, that period of uncertainty.
Yeah, that period of uncertainty. Yeah. And it provided a bit of difficulty for him to get the players that he wanted. But looking at next season, I'm sure that even if he wanted the best players, finishing 8th, no European football, especially the Champions League guaranteed, tells you that it is going to be difficult for him to sign any top caliber players, and he's going to settle for this younger players. So I think it is about time that United get any coach.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, but Manchester United has seen a terrible run. I think the last really good manager was Sir Alex Ferguson. That's when United was an untouchable football club. And then just to see, in a way, it's sort of like how it was with Chelsea. At some point, Chelsea was really up there, and then somewhere there, they lost it. So it would be sad to see such a great football club like Manchester United go down such a path,
Yes, Diana, indeed. One of the things, if you mention a guy like Sir Alex Ferguson, what he used to do, which was quite brilliant, Sir Alex Ferguson never went in the market shopping for the whole 11 players or more than 6 players. What Sir Alex Ferguson did very well, he did have a lot of average players among his team, players that cannot play anywhere or win trophies anywhere else. But what he made Manchester United so difficult to beat was the fact that he would sign players at very crucial positions, and whenever he brought this kind of players into the team, you could see that Manchester United used to thrive. 1 season or 2 seasons without a trophy, Sir Alex went into the market and brought the player he felt he needed to replace somebody with. And if you speak of the 20th title, and he brought in the jersey number 20, that was Robin van Persie. And you could see what Van Persie did in that season, and that was unfortunately Sir Alex. Last season, you could see when he brought in Ruud van Nistelrooy at the time, when he brought Eric Cantona at the time, he would just bring these key players in order to win the league.
You got me really nostalgic there with Robin van Persie. I mean, that was beautiful football to watch. And honestly speaking, right now with where Manchester United is at, I feel like, yes, replacing Ten Hag could, help the team in some way, but then we have to talk about who could be a potential replacement for him.
Yes, I've heard a lot of people speaking about the likes of Zinedine Zidane. Former Real Madrid Champions League winner. But I feel he doesn't have enough the coaching caliber. He was a coach that had a very good squad. They've spoken about also a former Manchester United player by the likes of Laurent Blanc. Quite good, had a good shot there in France, has been a very good technical coach. But I think it's for a team like Manchester United at the place where they are, it is quite difficult to bring in a coach who is just quite good enough for buying or for whatever. Here you need a coach that is very technically blessed, and sometimes in this sense, you would need to go really deep in the market and maybe get yourself an Italian coach, get yourself a German coach who could really be probably the cavalry for United in terms of the way they are at the moment.
Yeah, I think it really has to go back to the drawing board. I mean, I am in my delusional era. If somehow, by the grace of whatever forces are out there, if Sir Alex Ferguson can just for one season, I would be thoroughly happy. I mean, I was sad to see De Gea go. That was a truly heartbreaking moment for me, Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, Ten Hag just letting go of all those amazing players. But anyway, we will be talking about Ten Hag for the rest of the day. We do have to move on, though, from one player turned coach to another. Wayne Rooney set to make managerial return with Plymouth. Wayne Rooney's appointment as Plymouth's head coach is expected to be confirmed within the next 24 hours, with the former England captain set to sign a 3-year contract. Rooney is determined to restore his managerial reputation after a disastrous spell with Birmingham, who were relegated to League One earlier this month. The 38-year-old is poised to return to the Championship with Plymouth after holding productive talks with Neil Dewsnip, the club's director of football, with whom Rooney had a good relationship from their time at Everton. Dewsnip, who ended the season as caretaker manager of the Devon club, coached in Everton's academy before a teenage Rooney broke into the first team. Now, Rooney has been away from the dugout since being sacked by Birmingham in January, 83 days into a 3.5-year contract. Talk about disastrous. He is thought to have rejected offers to manage abroad since leaving St Andrews, but is excited by the prospect of reviving Plymouth, who avoided relegation on the final day of the season at Birmingham's expense. Now, Rooney did have a few words to say as he was appointed. Let's have a look.
Of course, I'm an ambitious person. One day I want to manage at the top level, and this is part of that process in terms of coming here, trying to develop this club, trying to get success here, but also develop myself as a manager, and but also the connection I've got with the club. Being here before, there isn't another MLS team I would have went to other than DC United, so I'm proud to be here as manager, proud to be here and try and develop this club both on and off the field.
All right, so Jesse, what's your take? Do you think he's going to do better than what we saw him do?
Well, one thing about Wayne Rooney is that at the clubs that he has managed since he started his managerial career, I don't think there are clubs that had enough financial backing in terms of the financial muscle. You could see what happened at Derby County. Wayne Rooney had to use money from his own pocket, to make sure that the players played and all that. So I've never really seen his qualities as a coach yet. We knew his qualities on the pitch as a footballer. We knew that he was such a good player. But wherever he has been so far, it has not worked for him that well. So Plymouth, quite a traditional side with a lot of a big fan base, and I can tell you that they are very passionate about their club as well. Rooney is very passionate about football, and that's why he is refusing just to say stay down, and that's why he's back there at Plymouth, probably to prove a point. But I think to judge him in terms of his coaching caliber and quality, it has been quite difficult because he has not really settled in a place where he really just needs to coach without the outside interference.
I agree. And I mean, the fact that he was sacked after just 83 days in, I mean, Manchester United gave Ten Hag a lot of chances. So, I mean, it was quite sad. I mean, to see him just be thrown out just like that very early on, I would say probably prematurely, but then again, people see things differently. Obviously, we don't have the same perspective, so it would be interesting to see how well he does this time around. And like you're saying, he's refusing to stay down. I'm pretty sure he has a lot more to show. Yeah, we're going to see a lot more from him.
Yes, we indeed need to see a lot more from him. But I think for a guy like Wayne Rooney, if I was to advise him outside anything else, I would have wanted him to settle as an assistant coach to some of the top coaches in the world. I think we have seen the likes of Mikel Arteta taking Arsenal with a second place finish, doing well in Europe. So it's a kind of nurturing, the kind of grooming and the kind of influence that he had as a coach under the likes of Pep Guardiola, also playing for a big club like Arsenal in the past, for Everton and all that. So for a guy like Wayne Rooney, if you look or you want to compare, you would pick a guy like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who played as a forward for Manchester United, and he came and to coach Man United, such a big club, it was a big responsibility, but you could see the quality in him that he is still a good coach because of the fact that he has been doing a few assistant coaching for quite a number of years. And with Wayne Rooney, I think that would have been very important. Go into the coaching setup, return to Manchester United or to Everton, take the youth teams, the under 18s, the under 19s, work your way through up to be an assistant for one of Europe's top coaches, and you could land a few more.
You know, I definitely agree. I hadn't thought about it in that aspect, because really it does take a lot to go from just being a player and then now you're managing the first team. That is a daunting task, and you know, to be expected to carry these teams through, that is a lot of work. So I would definitely, you know, agree with your perspective. Like, just have him work his way up, find confidence in his managerial skills, things like that, because it takes a lot to go from being a player and to just being a coach. All right, now from English Premier League, now we are talking Lookman, who destroyed Bayer Leverkusen's unbeaten streak. Yes, you're looking at the winners of the UEFA Europa League final 2024. Ademola Lookman scored a sensational hat-trick as Atalanta ended a 61-year trophy drought, crushing Bayer Leverkusen's dream of an unbeaten season in the Europa League final at a lively Aviva Stadium. Excuse me. Both sides brought a huge amount of support and colour to Dublin for what was Atalanta's first European final and only Leverkusen's third. Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen had not lost in 51 games this season and were just 2 matches away from perfection. But former Charlton Athletic winger Lookman had other plans. He placed the opening goal in the top corner from David Zapacosta's cutback. His second goal lit up the final as he nutmegged Granit Xhaka before bending a fantastic shot into the bottom corner from 20 yards. Lookman's third was equally impressive, with a step over beating Edmond Tapsoba before he fired into the roof of the net. Leverkusen, known for their dramatic comebacks, could not manage one this time. Thanks to Gian Piero Gasperini's tactical masterclass, a superb pressing game, and Lookman's brilliance, Atalanta now have a second trophy to join the 1963 Coppa Italia in their cabinet in Bergamo. The victory also secures them a place in next season's Champions League, which was not yet guaranteed through Serie A. All eyes were on Dublin for Leverkusen's unbeaten run, but Atalanta and Lookman were focused on their own game. Talk about a fantastic final.
Incredible to watch, fantastic in all sense, looking at 2 different clubs at 2 different positions in their respective countries. Bayern Leverkusen, we saw what they have done this season, unbeaten in the Bundesliga, winning the Bundesliga. Xabi Alonso, a very good player in his heydays, showing his managerial skills and coming into a final of such nature with a club like Atalanta that have not won silverware, the European Cup, for quite a number of years. And it had to be an African. Today's Africa Day.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly. Today's Africa Day. We're celebrating amazing Africans. And, you know, honestly speaking, who would have thought, right? It wasn't looking too good for Atalanta, but hey, they proved us otherwise. And of course, like we're saying, Lookman was the, I guess, man of the match, if I were to say. But he actually had some few words to say, so let's have a look.
Come here. Could you have imagined in your remotest, wildest dreams when you were a Charlton boy that this night would materialise for you?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah. know, I've always had the confidence in my ability to, you know, to create, to score goals, to help my teammates, assist them. And, you know, in the past 2 years, like I said, I've been able to take my game to a new level and been able to show that on a more consistent basis. So maybe it would have came earlier, but it's come now. You know, I'm pleased with the progress that I've made, but this is just the beginning. I hope for more nights like this, and just hope to progress and to get better and better. That's the key.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your attendance and coverage of the final tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was definitely an impressive game to watch. It was, you know, action throughout. He did not come to play.
Yes, Dana. A guy like Lukman, we watched him at the Africa Cup of Nations, that is at the Côte d'Ivoire.
Mm-hmm.
He is destined for great things, and if you look at what he has achieved in the short period of time, one would say that he definitely will be among the African players to be nominated for the Africa Player of the Year award. Scoring a hat-trick in a game of such magnitude in a final is not something easy.
It
doesn't happen. It has been done by the world greats, and Lukman there, an African, just did that. So we really have to be proud of the fact that he managed to score those 3 goals. But obviously, one would feel sad for Bayern Leverkusen or for Xabi Alonso, a man who wanted to keep that record, the invincible record. Well, he could be invincible, that is still in the Bundesliga, but you wanted him to dominate Europe as well. But I'm sure he has built a name for himself as a coach. Bayern Leverkusen, I can tell you, I've watched a few seasons back, a club struggling to come up with any victories, a club struggling to beat Bayern Munich or even Borussia Dortmund or let's say RB Leipzig, the teams that were really dominating German football, or at least close to piping that is Bayern Munich at the post. But now Leverkusen just came an incredible season, and with players of, with no respect, no disrespect, but players of average abilities.
Yes.
But Alonso came in and did this incredible job. So losing the final of the Europa League, I know that it's not easy. It's not something that you can just shake off. But I think we still have to give credit to what he has done this season.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to give credit where it's due, man. Like you're saying, it's not something easy. They were unbeaten, and then just to lose it all, you know, and that last moment, those dying moments definitely has to be heartbreaking. But hey, like you're saying, Lukman is one to look out for. Do you think he has a future at Atalanta? Do you think we could see him stay there? Or now that people know what he's capable of, he is definitely going to be that one that everyone is going to be willing to snatch up once the transfer window is open?
Well, with players playing their trade in Italian football, it is one of the leagues where players stay for a number of years before they can move anywhere. It's a league very difficult to pursue a player from. Not about the quality. I don't think it really is one of the best leagues in the world in terms of the playing, but most of the players that have their allegiance to Italian clubs have this loyal mentality to these clubs and stay for a while. But for a player like Lukman, who has been around, I'm sure that Atlanta is not his first stint. He could get some offers, some real good offers. I'm sure that some clubs will go into the market and will try to pursue him in moving out of Italy, or maybe stay in Italy but join Inter Milan, one of the clubs that have been dominating the Italian Serie A, or perhaps a move that is to the Spanish La Liga. There is big clubs that can always pursue, like the likes of Barcelona, the Real Madrids, and the Atletico Madrids. So I'm sure, but one of the things that you know that with European football guaranteed for him at Atlanta, it is also up to the club to try and pursue him to stay, because I'm sure he still has time on his contract.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are going to be keeping an eye out, seeing where this young star is headed. Now we move over from football. Now we are talking rugby. Yes, Etzbeth describes historic win as biggest club highlight. If you didn't watch this game, where were you? Are you even a rugby fan? Hollywood Bets Sharks captain Eben Etzbeth hailed his team's impressive victory against Gloucester in the EPCR Challenge Cup final at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London on Friday night as his greatest club highlight. He praised his team's character for making history as the first South African franchise to win a European title. The significant 36-22 victory, which secured their spot in next season's Investec Champions Cup, followed a disappointing Vodacom United Rugby Championship season where they fell out of the playoff race after a slow start. The double Rugby World Cup winning Springbok lock mentioned that the setback was a major driving force for the team going into the match. Their defense faced through thorough testing early in the match, but the KwaZulu-Natalians absorbed the pressure and took control, dominating the scrums and showing impressive attacking play. The motivation to win was more within the team, said Etzbeth. To turn things around the way we did after where we were 4 or 5 months ago was fantastic. There was a big drive to win the Challenge Cup as a silver lining to our season, which hasn't been great. If you told us at the start of the season that we would win the EPCR Challenge Cup and qualify for the Investec Champions Cup, we would have taken it. The victory was special and it felt as though we left our best performance for last. The guys were just incredible and the physicality was great. Etzbeth emphasized the importance of the victory, saying, at club level, this is by far the best memory. The last championship I won at club level was the Currie Cup in 2012, so it's been 12 years. So now discussing their game plan, Hollywood Bets Sharks head coach John Plumtree said, we wanted to apply a lot of pressure up front because we knew it would probably be their strength. So by taking that away, we knew we would have a good chance.
Good chance indeed. Something spectacular, you would say, from South Africa to the world. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a club that has been doing well, but not that well, as you said there, alluded to a disappointing, like I said, in the Vodacom tournament, and now they are there on top. Glory coming to them. It is good for South African rugby.
Yes.
In the first place, it is good for African rugby as well. I think wins of that nature do not come by
easily.
Yeah,
and they don't come by around too many times. And like he was saying, going from, you know, not doing so great starting the season, and then now, like you say, it's a proper final. It's, you know, the icing on the cake, for lack of a better term. And just to bring it back home as well, we've seen some of these teams in the NRU. Some of these teams have been struggling. So I think also they could take inspiration and motivation from this to say, you know what, if a team of such caliber could also like come from under to winning something this big and setting a name and putting South African rugby out there, is just, it's amazing. It's fantastic.
Couldn't have said it better. I think it's something that Namibian rugby has been yearning for. We are really a nation that has been struggling in terms of the big wins. Yes, we do qualify to the World Cup a number of years consecutively, but if you look at the pool and the nations we play against, you know as well that maybe it is expected of us to qualify. But for the clubs themselves that are also here, local clubs struggling, I think it's very important to look at the examples set by this franchise, to see that they can literally also just be up there. It reminds me of the time that Namibia was participating in the Currie Cup and playing against some of those clubs in South Africa. I think as a nation, we need to look back in terms of what are we looking in terms of rugby development. And one of the things that I can tell you is that the funding that has not been really there. And the next is in terms of, I think I'm quite worried. Yes, we are speaking about rugby, and I'm quite worried about the development structures of our rugby teams from club level, that is to the senior level. I think there is a vacuum and there is a worry in terms of how we have been doing, looking at our under-20 rugby club, rugby nation team that has literally been struggling to win matches, but we know that we have won the Bath Trophy in previous years. And these are the guys that are going to play for the national team in the future. So where does this leave the future? So it is indeed important to look at what do these clubs do right, what do these clubs follow in terms of development structures and all.
All right, now moving over to some women's football. Barcelona seek their first win against Lyon in Women's Champions League final. Barcelona must overcome the most successful club in women's soccer to continue their recent dominance. On Saturday in Bilbao, Barcelona faces Lyon, the record 8-time champions, in their 4th consecutive Women's Champions League final. The Spanish title holders aim for a 3rd European title within 4 seasons by defeating their longtime nemesis. Lyon, speaking to reclaim the trophy after last season's quarter-final exit, aims to counter the hype around Barcelona and their stars Alexia Putellas and Aitana Bonmati, both recent World Player of the Year winners. "We are a team that has won a lot in the past, but we remain really ambitious," said Lyon coach Sonia Bombasta, the first woman to win the league as both a player and coach. Bombasta, who could become the first woman to win 2 titles as a coach, acknowledged that rivals are motivated to defeat Lyon, which is playing in its 11th European final in 15 seasons. Lyon has dominated Barcelona in their previous matches, including victories in the 2019 and 2022 finals. However, Bombasta noted that this Barca is different, citing new signings and growth since their last meeting. Barcelona's Aitana Bonmati highlighted the improvements, saying, "We didn't have any experience and were physically far off the big teams. Now we are probably one of the teams to beat." Barcelona won their first European title against Chelsea in 2021 and their second against Wolfsburg in 2023. Coach Jonathan Giraldez, who will join US club Washington Spirit next season, expressed confidence in his team's form and determination to prove they are still the best in Europe. Barcelona, with several players from Spain's Women's World Cup winning squad, reached the final by overcoming Chelsea. Lyon eliminated Paris Saint-Germain and will rely on key player Ada Hegerberg, expected to return from injury.
Indeed, a very important, big match in terms of women football. It will be a European night, and as you alluded to there, that Barcelona are struggling to beat Lyon because Lyon are one of the best managed women football teams in the world. They remind me of the American national team in terms of their dominance on world football. And now at club level, you know that this team from France, a very good setup professionally, good investments in terms of the number of players and the kind of players that they want at their club. Well, they come up against the team that has also been one of Spain's dominant forces in terms of football, a team with quality players, a team that has obviously the backup of the nation in terms of what they need to do there. So it is going to be a very interesting night. I'm sure that Barcelona look quite good this time around in terms of challenging the Lyon, but it is always going to be very difficult to beat a club of that caliber.
So Jesse, who is your money on?
If I was going to place a bet, right, it is going to be very difficult, but I think the odds favor the French club. I would go for a 2-1.
2-1 in favor?
In favor of
Lyon.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like you're saying, anything could happen. They're both really strong, dominant teams, and both teams are not going to be looking to let up that easily.
Definitely.
So it's going to be one to watch and one for the books. All right, now moving over. Still in Barcelona, though, Zak Xavi with Flick set to replace him. Barcelona have sacked manager Xavi, with former Bayern Munich boss Hansi Flick set to replace him. Xavi will manage his final game for Barcelona on Sunday, hosting Sevilla in their last La Liga match of the season. Xavi, who was contracted until 2025, was informed of the decision in a meeting with club president Joan Laporta and sporting director Deco on Friday, exactly 1 month after being assured he would stay. Despite Xavi's early agreement to remain after contemplating departure in January, recent comments about the club's financial struggles reportedly angered Laporta. Barcelona thanked Xavi for his service since taking charge in 2021. In an open letter, Xavi expressed pride in his tenure and committed to being a lifelong fan. A new structure will be confirmed soon, with Flick set to take over. Conversations with the 59-year-old began months ago, and an agreement has been in place for a while. Flick, out of work since being sacked by Germany in September 2023, previously led Bayern Munich to a treble in 2020. Barcelona forward Robert Lewandowski, who played under Flick at Bayern, will reunite with him. Xavi's team, having won La Liga in 2022-2023 season, had a disappointing season, finishing 12 points behind Real Madrid and exiting the Champions League in the quarter-finals. Xavi, a former Barcelona player and La Masia graduate, had a storied playing career before managing Al Sadd in Qatar and returning to Barcelona in 2021, where he won La Liga and the Spanish Cup in his first full season.
Definitely, it was expected from a club like Barcelona. He won't be the first manager to be sacked there, because it happens quite often in terms of the club, the respect, and I'm sure one thing is about Barcelona is that the management are very, very, they hate criticism, and that's why it's always very difficult. But apart from the criticism itself, I don't think the club did quite well this season in terms of finishing the 12 points behind, that is champions Real Madrid, and also exiting the Champions League at a place where they did. I think as a coach like Xavi, who was a very, very top player, prominent player in his heydays, I think there are just points where you can come and you end, and you can't go beyond that. And we could see with Barcelona, they have just never been the same after Pep Guardiola left. They have not played the same football. They have just not been the dominant force that they were in Europe. And I'm sure the pressure will be on any manager that comes in place of Xavi there to come and do something and bring back the club to its level. Even if they won the league the last time around, they're still just not the Barcelona we used to know.
I mean, Barcelona was that team. It was always such a big day when Barcelona and Real Madrid were playing, because if you'd remember, it was always Messi versus Ronaldo. You know, those were the days. That was the Barcelona we knew that was like fantastic. It was, you know, that team that would always bring the action, and was always, is it Real Madrid, is it Barcelona? They were, you know, they were the Manchester United, Manchester City of Spanish football. So it's really difficult to see, like you're saying, them finishing 12 points behind Real Madrid. It has not been a great season, and whatever manager is coming up next actually has really big shoes to fill.
Very big shoes to fill, indeed. But if you look at a guy like I think he's one of the best technical coaches the world has to offer. And a club like Barcelona, they need that in their midst. They need a guy that is very technically good, and the one tiki-taka football that they used to play, good possession play that we used to see from a Barcelona side. When you come at the Camp Nou, you used to know that touching the ball will probably just take 2 touches from the opposing team, but the rest was Barcelona dominating.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, we will see what is happening now. Now, an update on the FA Cup final. Manchester United is still leading. The game is, I think, about at 90 minutes now, if I'm not mistaken. Manchester United still leading, but City did manage to get a goal in. So again, hey, like you were saying with City, really anything could happen. And like you're saying with Manchester United, they really struggle in those dying minutes.
Yes, it is quite concerning. And I took a glance at it and saw, and I was like, oh my word, should I run out and go and watch? My heart started pounding for that, because we do know that Manchester United, one of the things that they have been struggling to do is holding a lead until the 90th. And I'm sure with the new rule that has come up, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of minutes to play.
Geez, that makes me anxious. But anyway, we move over now to some cricket news. If the Namibian national men's cricket team, the Richelieu Eagles, were looking for a tense contest in any of their 4 unofficial warm-up matches ahead of the ICC T20 World Cup, they finally found it on Friday night. The Namibians, who are currently in St. Kitts, had quite easily won their first matches against Papua New Guinea and Afghanistan before Thursday's rematch with PNG was completely abandoned due to rain. In match 2 against Afghanistan on Friday, Namibia won the toss, elected to bat, and completed their 20 overs on a total of 147 for 7. Afghanistan, who had lost the first match by 9 wickets, then managed to take revenge in a tense 1-wicket win. The Eagles lost Michael van Lingen for a duck, but Nico Dalvin with 18 off 9 balls with 4 boundaries, JP Kutsa with 16 off 18 balls, Gerard Erasmus with 20 off 20, and JJ Smith 19 off 19 got the innings into gear. Zane Green was bowled for just 2 runs, but David Wiese rose to the challenge with 35 not out of 21 balls, in which he hit 2 4s and 2 6s. He found some support from Ruben Trampelman with 12 off 13 balls, which also contained 1 4 and 1 6. Afghanistan only lost their first wicket at 41 and their second on 101, with number 3 Gobaldin Naib retiring at 40 off 24 balls. The Namibians kept chipping away with more wickets as Ruben Trampelman took 3 for 37 in 4 overs, while supported by Gerard Erasmus with 2 for 13. 1 wicket each was taken by Tangeni Lungameni, David Wiese, and Bernard Schultz. Although Afghanistan lost their 9th wicket in the 20th and final over, they managed to get the winning run off the last ball. 3 official warm-up matches now await the Namibians in Trinidad. The Eagles will meet Uganda on Monday, Australia on Tuesday, and Papua New Guinea 2 days later.
Well, just a few days before the Cricket World Cup, I think Namibia are starting to gel, the cricket team, because I was quite worried a few months back. There was a lot of loose ends from their bowlers. There was a lot of issues within the club, a lot of controversy within the whole team. So results of this nature, back-to-back week in a few weeks, I think it shows that they will be ready for the World Cup.
All right, I mean, we are definitely looking forward to seeing what the Namibians can do. Like you're saying, everyone was a bit concerned. So we're going to see how well they fare. Now, anyway, from one cricket story to the next, SRH take massive decision ahead of IPL 2024 final against KKR in Chennai. Ahead of the IPL 2024 final against Kolkata Knight Riders in Chennai, Sunrisers Hyderabad made a significant decision to cancel their practice session on Saturday, as reported by Hindustan Times. This decision followed SRH's comprehensive victory over Rajasthan Royals in Qualifier 2, securing their place in the summit clash against KKR at Chepalk Stadium on Sunday. Opting for a rest day after their match on Friday, SRH aimed to ensure player fitness considering the high temperatures and humidity in Chennai. In contrast, KKR last played on Tuesday, defeating SRH in Qualifier 1, providing them with a longer break before the final. KKR conducted a practice session on Friday and scheduled another for Saturday evening. KKR's recent matches against Gujarat Titans and Rajasthan Royals were abandoned due to rain, possibly contributing to their decision to hold additional practice sessions to compensate for the lack of match practice. Meanwhile, Pat Cummins shared his thoughts on SRH's impressive victory over RR in IPL 2024 Qualifier 2. Quite a big decision there.
Very big indeed. And I think for starters, the controversy that just never runs away from us as clubs, but I think it's quite important.
All right, now we move over to the Olympics. Very big news there. Big, but also very, very strange. Now, 2 months before Paris 2024, the official podiums for the Olympic and Paralympic Games have been unveiled. Made by Le Pavé Global Concept in Giffard, these eco-friendly podiums will be used for both the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games. Colored grey to honor Paris's rooftops and inspired by the Eiffel Tower, these podiums will feature in all 329 Olympic and 549 Paralympic medal ceremonies. Paris 2024 President Tony Estanjuet said, "For an athlete, reaching the podium is a moment of pride, emotion, and ultimate success. It's a moment when dreams become reality and you enter the history of the Games." He added, "We are pleased to reveal the podiums of Paris 2024, designed with elements of the Eiffel Tower, inspired by Gustave Eiffel's work. Winning a medal will feel like standing on top of the world, and the podium's grey color reflects the iconic roofs of Paris." Now, that's not the only eco-friendly thing that they're unveiling at the 2024 Olympics. Now, these podiums are made from French wood and 100% recycled plastics. Athletes are staged to proudly represent their countries, watched by the entire world. Now, recent reports also suggested that the Olympians would be sleeping on beds made by Airweave, used in Tokyo 2020, which apparently are aimed to prevent athletes from getting intimate in Paris. However, Paris Games clarified that these beds were chosen for environmental reasons, being eco-friendly and recyclable. Airweave's founder emphasized their durability during a demonstration last July. The quality of the furniture has been tested for comfort and sustainability for various body types. After the Games, the bed frames will be recycled, while mattresses and pillows will be donated. Athletes will sleep in single beds, 2 or 3 to a room, in a newly built village near the main stadium. Despite media reports, these claims have been debunked, and organizers urge athletes to maintain social distancing. In March, officials announced the availability of condoms in the village during the Games. So those are the beds right there. I mean, I guess France really is following a recyclable theme this year. I don't know how far true the rumors are. I mean, a lot of Olympians did come out saying that they engaged in a lot of activity, not just sporting activity.
Not just sporting activity. Well, I think to start with the podium and all, the eco-friendliness in terms of what they are promoting at this competition, I would say big ups to France. We know that climate change has become one of the most difficult things, and it is giving problems to a lot of countries, and we are experiencing it here in Africa as well, with the lack of rain at all. So, I mean, it will be good for the Olympians and the Paralympians that will be competing at France to stand on a podium designed in that nature for climate change. I mean, the first one, of its kind. So important for those that will be standing on the podium. You'll not just only be receiving a medal, but you'll be the first probably to stand on such a podium. In terms of the bed and the controversy surrounding the bed, so that has been something that has happened quite a lot in previous Olympics, and I think humans, it's quite difficult to stop them from setting X, but I don't want to dwell much on that. But I hope that it is going to be a very great Olympics.
I mean, people really were commenting on the whole bed situation, not just in terms of everything else, but just in terms of like the comfortability. Because, you know, with Olympians, they do need that rest. They need to recover their bodies fully to prepare for everything that is to come. So it is interesting to see that France is following this whole eco-friendly, you know, they're using the eco-friendly route. So, and it's not the first time. I mean, we saw it in Tokyo as well. So hopefully this is something that they keep doing and they keep going at it. But anyway, you know, the Olympics are starting soon, so we are definitely excited for that. Now, wrapping up our international news, because Jesse, we do have to get into local sports news, what everyone has been waiting for, because let's be fair, these are stories that you can read everywhere, but when it comes to local sports news, we need the gist from you as it happens. But before we get into that, let's talk some tennis news. Mashak upsets Djokovic in Geneva Open semis. In the Geneva Open semi-finals, world number one Novak Djokovic suffered a surprising defeat to Thomas Mashak, with the Czech earning his first ATP Tour final spot. Despite a strong start by Djokovic, Mashak rallied to win the first set, prompting a medical timeout for Djokovic. The Serb fought back to take the second set, but struggled again in the decider, giving Mashak his second victory. Now, Djokovic, still seeking his first final this season, entered Geneva as a wild card after a disappointing performance in Rome. He will begin his French Open title defense against Pierre-Hugues Herbert. Mashak's historic win makes him the first Czech to reach the Geneva final since 1987, and he awaits the outcome of the match between Casper Ruud and Flavio Cobolli for his opponent in the final. There was some action there from the Geneva Open semi-finals. So, I mean, quite disappointing, I guess, for Djokovic, being a man that has been, I mean, he is the world number one currently. So to suffer such a defeat has to be devastating.
It is devastating for him, but as one would say that there comes a time sometimes you can't go beyond your peak, and I think it is starting to show. I mean, Djokovic was one of the tennis players that we knew that once he's on the court, it is difficult to be defeated. And to say the truth, I'm sure he has also had a few distractions in his career lately and all that. But yeah, let's hope that he bounces back.
Let's hope he bounces back. But hey, Mashak now seems to be one to beat. All right, that is it for the international segment. Now, after the break, Jesse takes us into some local sporting action. Stay tuned.
Connection. It's in the human touch. The feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us. Creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Hallo Namibia, ons is by die kus en ons is lus.
Terwyl by die Easter shot.
Okay. Okay, so yes. Please, today you make sure that we are fed. Sorry, ek is nie.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Yes, indeed, it has been an eventful week and an eventful weekend. Manchester United beating Man City, Dana.
You cannot contain your smile right now.
Yes, definitely.
So
quite incredible.
Quite incredible action there. I mean, it was 2-1. I don't think anybody expected that.
No, definitely, and you know that's why it takes a skill to be here and checking the scoreline and knowing that anything can happen in those last minutes. So big ups to Manchester United, big up to Ten Hag. I'm sure they have given him something to take home with, but you never know, maybe this victory has changed the minds of the managers.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I mean, we saw that last year as well when Manchester United were celebrating, and it's like, listen, you said you came here to win trophies, you haven't done that. I mean, okay, this is now, I speak under correction, his second trophy with Manchester United. It's not anything to be too excited about.
Well, speaking about celebrations, speaking about the vibes, and speaking about local,
yes,
it's lekker. We did have the Vivo Energy Marathon taking place. That was in the capital city. Dana, I don't know why you didn't go and jog and show some
Jesse.
things.
Oh, okay. So this means that you and I haven't really had a sit down. So the thing with me, Jesse, is I don't run unless I'm being chased.
Okay.
So kudos to the runners that actually woke up and were very committed to running 42 kilometers. I mean, geez, kudos to you guys. Even the ones that did the half marathon, the 5 kilometers, whatever you did, I am proud of you because that could never be me. Do you run?
Well, Dana, I used to run, but I don't think like I will be able to run at this moment. I'm just not in it for it. Well, speaking of running, let's have a view at some footage we received that is from the marathon.
City runners in the house. Better not see you dancing with somebody. All the best. Oh, yes. Drive that bus. Yes, Kelvin guys in the house. Lots of...
Great scenes, that is from the marathon indeed.
The vibes were aligned. Could never be me, but hey, kudos to all of you.
Well, for more news, and this is football, that was happening in Oshakati at the Independence Stadium. The PST Bet NFA Cup taking place, that is at Oshakati today. and you could see the fixtures there. A lot of games to be played, but we have had a few teams already playing, with Nas Babes and Okahanja FC opening the day with the top action, and Nas Babes came out victorious with a 4-2 win over, that is, Okahanja FC. Okahanja FC goals were scored, that is, by Renala Hangula and Leticia Shihuno, while Nas Babes goals were scored by Nguvishita Kahitu, the Konja, Patricia Wapanduka and Sheripo Udera. In other, that is PST bet action, Commerce Nampol FC beat Eros Ladies 2-1, courtesy of goals from Helena Shumba and the Kahosana of Kamashipose, while the only goal from Eros Ladies was scored, that is, by Lorraine Joseph. Now, Nas Babes assistant coach Bill Luke says his side will go all the way to the final. Let's hear from him.
Good afternoon. Overall, we had a very good game this afternoon. A game that we thought would be a very difficult game for us, as the traveling didn't allow us to rest much. The girls didn't have much time to rest. We came well prepared, and we said the team was improving all along in the league. If you look at our last games, and then we think we are moving up with the gear. I think this NFA Cup will reach the final. We are about to go for the final. Everyone could see and could testify and testimony of the game that we had here. Nasty is improving day in and out. In my last interview, I said the girls are coming up. We only pick up late in the season, but we are here now.
Well, more action from the men's football there in the north also came through, and that is Young Brazilians FC beating Orisia Savita by 4-2. Let's hear from the coaches.
Okay. From the last 32, since the 32 started, so we took one game at a time, and I think going into the semi-finals, we'll still take it one game at a time. We will work hard, not undermine anybody, as I say. It will be tough. It will really be tough, so we'll have to put in the work, and with hard work, we would like to go to the final, but we'll just work hard and grind and take it game by game. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. Concerning the game, we took the opponents as their second division team. We took them seriously. We did not undermine them. Our aim was to get an early goal, and we got that goal. So after getting the early goal, we sealed the game with the first goal, I think. And after that, we got our second goal. I think the two quick goals. So it worked. And by not undermining them, we just motivated ourselves, because they were an unknown team to us. But I thank my boys for doing the hard work.
Okay, thank you. It was a tough game with the very good opponents. So from this game, we learned that we have to work hard on our touches, on our fitness. Also, technical team must polish over the guys. We were disappointed. We were hoping to go further in this tournament, maybe reach the semi-finals, but we tried. As a second division team, we are really proud of our boys and representing our region. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that is all action happening. That is from the northern side of Namibia, Independence Stadium at Oshakati on Africa Day, the PST Bet NFA Cup. Dana, women's football taking center stage, being represented that side. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's definitely amazing to see, women's football finally being recognized and, getting the recognition it deserves. Earlier on, Nas Babes assistant coach Billy Luke, we had what he had to say. What are we thinking about that? He seems very confident that his team will make it to the final. You've been following the games, you've been following the league. What are we thinking in terms of statistics? How's it looking?
Well, I think that was a very bold statement from him. Because NAS Babes has been struggling in the league, and there are big teams in the Women's Super League and that are still part of that competition, which is Ongos FC, and then you have Commerce Nampol FC. These two teams have been dominant in terms of that, and NAS Babes has been on the receiving end of high scores that is in the Women's Super League. I'm not sure what the coach has seen in his team, maybe in this one here, and he is probably just going to give us a surprise, and that would probably be the biggest surprise of the tournament. Okay.
I mean, for a coach to say such a bold statement, that definitely means they're working on their strategy, they're working on their team coordination, all of that. So I would say, Jesse, in terms of it being bold, he knows what he's talking about. Obviously, we would have to see it on the pitch, but I would say for a coach to say something like that, something that is so bold, something that is so confident, it means, like you said, he either saw something in his team or they're working on a perfect strategy, one they're sure is foolproof and one that they're sure will take them to the final.
Definitely. Speaking of women's football as well, PST Bet, they have also announced a 300,000 sponsorship that is towards women regional leagues in all 14 regions, which each region promised to receive 20,000 Namibian dollars for logistics and administration costs. PST Bet has also announced the formation of the Women Regional Cup, similar to the NFA Cup, with more information to be communicated in due time.
All right, so earlier on, Jesse, we were speaking about local sports not getting enough funding, but now we're seeing more and more companies, more and more corporates actually pledging money to make these sports much, much better, to give all these leagues a fighting chance, and of course, to develop the sports codes in Namibia.
Wonderful stuff there from PST Bet. They have been doing this for ever since they became so popular. I think that they have done very well investing in, that is, this regional leagues, the Governors Cup, Premier League. They are sponsoring teams in the Premier League. I mean, they are everywhere. And you know, that is one thing very important and crucial for women's soccer, being sponsored at a regional level, because that's where the problem has been. The Super League, which is the major league, does have a sponsorship that is from FNB Namibia, but the rest are struggling. And I think with PST Bet coming on board and sponsoring this, it is just going to show that they can actually come up and also be prominent in terms of football in the country.
Yeah, so now we are looking to see how far it actually goes. Like, you know, it would be great if more and more corporates actually stepped up and actually put in more money, so that it's disappointing to see that as Namibia we have so much potential, but we are limited, especially in terms of funding. So to see PST Bet doing this, I mean, hopefully they're opening the doors for many other corporates to come on board and, you know, sponsor.
Yes, most definitely, Diana. One of the good news that we will hear now is the fact that the Brave Warriors got 3 points, and that was also made a big headlines this week, and it was announced by FIFA. The football governing body, FIFA, has handed Namibia and Liberia 3-0 victory in their 2026 World Cup qualifying matches against Equatorial Guinea. FIFA has determined that AFCON top scorer Emilio Nsu played against Namibia and Liberia while he was ineligible, due to the fact that he still holds that is Spanish nationality, and the normal procedure to switch to Equatorial Guinea is not yet complete. He has so far been suspended from international football for 6 months. This also means on the group that Namibia leads the group, that is on 6 points, while Tunisia also has 6 points, Liberia 3 points, Malawi 3 points, Equatorial Guinea and Sao Tome Prince will have 0 points.
Jesse, I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, it is still a victory nonetheless. Like you're saying, it's Africa Day, so we will celebrate. But also, just to bring it back, right? Why would you go ahead and play knowing that you have not completed the correct procedures?
Dana, this happens a lot in African football.
Oh my goodness.
And imagine the amount of strain that it has caused or brought to the Equatorial Guinea side, because they need, that is to qualify to the World Cup. They had a very good campaign at the Africa Cup of Nations, and their top scorer, and I was surprised and shocked to know that he has not completely changed his allegiance or nationality, that is to Guinea. And now, but speaking of luck, this is very important for a country like Namibia. Namibia lost 1-0 to Equatorial Guinea in these qualifiers, and now they have been handed this 3-0 victory. They are 6 points at the top of that table, followed by Tunisia. So it is going to be very important for them to win their remaining matches, and hopefully we can have our first World Cup qualification.
Honestly speaking, that would be something to definitely celebrate. We saw that the Brave Warriors did so well at AFCON, you know. It was fantastic to see, and it would be even greater if we could, you know, qualify for the World Cup. That would break Namibia in a good way, Yeah. So it's I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this whole thing. Like you're saying, having something handed to you like that, and now you have to maintain it. The pressure is definitely on, especially since you're leading. It will be hard to maintain that, but hey, I believe in the Brave Warriors. I believe they can do it.
Yes, one of the things challenging, that would be very challenging to the Brave Warriors, is the fact that they need to beat Tunisia. Tunisia is one of the teams in this group that are very highly ranked, and of course we beat them at the Africa Cup of Nations with a 1-0 victory. That was history made, but in order to make more history, Namibia has never qualified to the World Cup, and I think with being awarded 3 points, this could be a good chance, because obviously in this groups you need maximum points all the time. You need to get the points. You need to make sure that you don't lose points, whether you get 1 or 3. So it is very important now that they were handed these 3 points. They still have to play Tunisia, they still have to play Liberia, they will still have to play Equatorial Guinea as well.
Yeah, and Namibia and Tunisia actually both sit at 5. The goal difference is 5. So it's, it's going to be a tough one to see, because like you're saying, since Namibia beat Tunisia, Tunisia is not going to be looking to, you know, they're going to be looking to redeem themselves. So obviously they will come in guns blazing. And Namibia, again, also knowing this, will definitely do everything in their power to ensure, like you said, they leave no points on the table. Whatever points you can take, you have to grab them. You have to, like you're saying, we've never been really this close to, you know, being or qualifying for the World Cup. So it's going to be one to watch. It's going to be something definitely interesting to see and keep an eye on.
Definitely. One of the most positives about it as well is that former Brave Warrior striker Geros Urikop Vetbien has been appointed as the new team manager of the Brave Warriors, and he will be among those that will be leading the team.
All right, okay, all right. So now we've given you international, we've given you local sports, we've given you everything, but we haven't given you F1, and we know there are some avid F1 followers out there. Now Verstappen qualified P6, which will make it hard for him to win because there's a little overtaking room at Monaco. Now Charles Leclerc on pole, followed by Oscar Piastri and George Russell from Mercedes. I don't know too much about F1, but here's someone that does. Here's Irene Marie van der Walt.
Thank you to the team in studio. So on the Formula One front, we are looking toward the Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. A very tactical, very narrow track, which makes it boring for some people. A lot of followers of Formula One may know this already, but Monaco it's kind of a contentious issue. Some people believe that Monaco is extremely boring because it's so narrow, the cars can't fit next to each other, and if they can't fit next to each other, then somebody can't come from behind, drive next to you, and then drive ahead of you. otherwise known as an overtake. So that's the action to a lot of Formula One teams. That's what they want to see. Those are the exciting moments in the sport. But then there's other people who believe that this is a fantastic show of a driver's ability aside from their racecraft, solely just their driving capabilities. Because it is so tight, because it is so twisty, drivers really, really need to be at their best, because a matter of millimeters could end your race entirely. There are points at the Monaco circuit where drivers are unofficially expected to just kiss the barrier so that they can get the best, out of a turn. And if you miscalculate that kiss, it could be the kiss of death. It could be the end of your race. So a very tactical track. The only real overtaking possibility is at the Novelle chicane, which makes it hard for drivers because they have to come in straight into the Novelle chicane, give it about a 90-degree turn to the left, and then onto the right again. So if you want to overtake somebody at the Novelle chicane, you have to carry enough speed into the chicane that you can overtake them, that you have more speed than them, but you can't carry so much speed that you have to cut the chicane, because if you gain a position from cutting that chicane, you have to give the position back in any case. So it's a very, very tough one for drivers to do. In other Formula One news, Carlos Sainz is said to be in advanced talks with the Williams team. Quite a downgrade for him, given that he drives for Ferrari, probably the second or third best team on the third best car on the grid currently. He's been doing really well for them. Him and Lando Norris at McLaren are the only non-Red Bull drivers who have won a race since the beginning of last season, right? So he should be hot property on the drivers' market. And allegedly, we cannot confirm or deny this, but allegedly he's let his Audi deal to rot, which means if he goes to Williams, that's a really, really big downgrade for him. Unless he knows something that we don't. One of the big players in the driver market and in teams for this year is going to be Adrian Newey. He has not confirmed where he's going to go. There's a lot of talk that he will go to Ferrari, and that it's his dream to work with Ferrari and his dream to work with somebody like Lewis Hamilton. There's also talks that he may go to Williams, or even that he may go back to McLaren. Maybe he feels like he has a bit of a score to settle at McLaren. If anybody remembers the infamous unraced McLaren that he had a hand in designing, maybe he has a score to settle. Maybe he would like to go to Williams. It would certainly mean a lot to Williams if they could turn this very historic team in Formula One, turn that back around and have a car at the front of the grid. We know that Adrian Newey is capable of designing a car that can go at the front of the grid. So if Carlos Sainz were to move to Williams, does he know something about Adrian Newey that we don't? The odds are very, very, very low. Adrian Newey is probably not going to go to Williams. Don't quote me on that if he does end up going to Williams. But these are the talks, is Williams, McLaren, Ferrari. And there's also talks that Aston Martin are looking into getting Adrian Newey on their team. I think as much as we want to talk about the driver market, with Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari, he's completely upset and started that whole game of musical chairs that we're so used to in Formula One. As much as we want to talk about the driver market, there is also an Adrian Newey market. And that is going to have, in one way or another, it will likely have an effect on the driver market for this season. At Monaco this weekend, we'll have to keep an eye out for Charles Leclerc. He's hoping to win his home race for the first time ever. He's never stood on the podium here. He's said to have a little bit of a Monaco curse where his race just always falls apart in Monaco. But he's hoping to end that, and he said that he won't settle for a podium place. It seems if Red Bull are able to bounce back from what they've done in the first practice session, ending P10, P11, it seems that he might have to settle for a podium place, because Red Bull have improved from the first practice session to the second practice session. They went from P10, P11 to just outside of the podium places. So if they can improve that toward FP3 and have a good qualifying stint, then they will Max Verstappen's Red Bull will probably be at the front again, and he will probably take P1 again. Just because there aren't those overtaking opportunities in Monaco, but Max Verstappen has also said that Monaco isn't their best track. They've historically not had good success the past couple of years,